Greetings, salutations, and welcome to episode 9090 of Abyssal Musings. My name is Samuel the Infamous, and with me is my co-host and partner, Lawrence Knight.
Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum.
Okay. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. We are hoping that some guests will stop by. We'll have to see on that down the road. Kind of depends on availability, that sort of thing. But there are invites out, and there is a possibility that we might have some people stopping in. So otherwise, I think tonight we should have some fun, man. It
Definitely.
should be a good time.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, it's hot as shit here. My air conditioner's not doing anything about it. I'm not happy in that regard. So I'm really looking forward to this as a distraction. It's I think it's something like 92 degrees outside, and the sun went down an hour ago.
That's all. It's been
For
over
northern
100.
for Wyoming, that's pretty goddamn, dude. That's 120 degrees higher than it normally is for almost the whole year.
Wow.
Yeah, it's usually pretty cold here.
That's bad.
Yeah, so
it,
we're sweating.
yeah, if it's that hot compared to normal for you, yeah, you've got to be miserable over there.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Like, it's so bad that my fucking mustache is sweating. Like, do you know how hot it has to be for that to happen? And by the way, we don't have any humidity here.
Oh yeah. So it's like being in the ovens, like California, man. You're just baking, man.
Yeah, it's like being in an air fryer because even the wind is hot because the wind didn't
Yep.
stop blowing. It just didn't, get cool at all. So yeah, it's been like that. It's been, I don't know. The HVAC at work is not as, we've been having problems with it all summer so far, trying to get it up and running. And like some days it works great and it's nice inside. And other days, like a couple of days ago, it was actually hotter inside than it was outside.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was a little nuts. But otherwise, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be doing the show. It'll be a nice, pleasant distraction from the sweltering misery that is me at the moment. So,
That's funny. Well, on
yeah.
my end, spent half the day at the ER trying to find out where this stupid cough came from, especially because I was sick last week. And according to the ER doctor, I have COVID. Or at least he said that I tested positive, which makes no sense because the cough that I have is known to show up when somebody has recovered. So it's a post-COVID cough. But yet I tested positive today, and this was after they had to rerun my test because they messed up the first time. So I'm wondering if the diagnosis is even correct because you don't go to the ER and not be prepared to sit there for who knows how long. But the things that I was sent to do today made no sense whatsoever. Like sending me to get an X-ray when I already knew what was going on with me. I was like, why are you sending me to an X-ray? But I guess if you're a doctor, a nurse, or whatnot, you want to make absolutely sure it's nothing else. So I said, okay, that's fine. But the
I
wait,
would assume, yeah, I would assume that the X-ray was more about seeing if there's like fluid in your lungs, like if it's turning into pneumonia or something.
I think so. I think because they were saying, yeah, they said that my lungs were clear and whatnot. So no, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm glad because pneumonia was also a thought on my mind. I was like, oh shoot, I'm hoping that this is not not pneumonia because this wasn't fun. Um, but yeah, and I was at a party last night, and I was miserable and not feeling good, but I went anyway, and I'm glad I did. I just
Not to
hope that.
mention, if you were at a party and you were already sick, man, you're probably patient zero now.
Well, like I said, man. I mean, if I had gone a week, there's no way I'd have gone a week ago. Cause
Mhm.
the fever that I had it Saturday. I had late. It hit me late Saturday. It hit me Saturday night around 6, and the fever broke Sunday morning at around 7. So after that, I mean, and in between all that, I had the body aches and I had chills, and then I was fine. The rest of Sunday and Monday, I was fine, and then all of a sudden Monday night, I started feeling funny, and I started losing my appetite again, and then the appetite came back, and then 2 days ago, I was coughing my lung, my spleen up. I mean, just my spine. I mean, you name it, it was getting coughed up. I could swear I tasted my pelvis at some point. I coughed so loud.
Jeez.
I coughed so hard in the ER that the nurse jumped. It was funny.
Yeah, that sounds like loads of fun, man.
Well, it was.
Um,
I actually enjoyed that part when she jumped and her eyes got big, got as wide as Texas.
yeah. Um, but yeah, that's one of those things though, like and I kind of hate to get all tinfoil hatty about this shit, man, but the last time around with the COVID stuff and the election year and all that, they were saying that all kinds of things that weren't COVID were, and
Yeah,
that anything that was vaguely coronavirus shaped, which includes colds and regular flu and that sort of thing, were being diagnosed as. Dude, there was a guy in South Dakota who died from road rash, as
yeah,
in he came off an off ramp at about 100 miles an hour on a motorcycle and ended up in multiple pieces. He drug on the road so hard, right?
yeah.
And
I
they
remember hearing
diagnosed him with
about that.
COVID death.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember hearing about that. I walked in there, my allergies were acting up, and I went to the hospital, and they said I screened COVID because I coughed. So yeah, I'm
yeah.
very well aware of that. I don't think that they will bother this much this year because the word's already out. I mean, you're not even if you have COVID, you're not even at least where I'm at, you're not even forced to stay home at this point. And one of my coworkers showed up to work, or now former coworkers, she showed up to work last Monday, and with a mask on, and told us that she was at a party and found out that somebody there was COVID positive, and it
Mhm.
exposed everybody. So, but
Yeah,
it to me, it just looked like she just had a little bit of cold. I mean, it definitely hit me a lot worse than it hit her, and I
yeah.
was like,
And it's going to do that because, like, if I remember right, you haven't really caught it. Did you catch it before?
no,
Yeah, so it's gonna hit you harder the first time too. But like I've been saying for a while now, it's like this kind of thing, this is going to be endemic. We're gonna see variants pop up here and there, just like we do with the flu. The flu once killed millions of people. Right now, it's an inconvenience for everybody.
hmm
And we're gonna see the same damn thing happen with COVID, which is so there's no reason to freak out about it for the most part for most people, especially kids, because as far as we can tell, there are minimal to no effects on them at all. Yeah.
well, because it's super resilient, man.
hmm Yeah. Well, it's almost like it was designed to kill old people. I'm just saying. Uh,
I mean, it probably was,
so,
but you know what? But you know what? There's a lot of old people that caught it, like old people that stayed in good shape and really took care of themselves and ate a lot of green vegetables. They caught it. They
mhm,
caught it. Didn't even know they had it. They was at the hospital, walking around, laughing, talking, whatever. And yet, and I remember, and it was a guy over here that I know, and he said he was in the hospital. He almost died, and there
right.
was a 22-year-old that had COVID, and he died.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, there's going to be outliers,
Well, I think there was a lot of these they were underlying issues, and then
mhm,
also the CDC had admitted, I think it was like sometime last year, that a lot of the deaths that they said came from that was actually the regular flu. So it was actually the annual flu that was, quote, deleting all of these people when they said
Yep.
it was the coof, as we should be saying. But
Yeah,
so
as it turns out, hiding away from the world for fucking 6 months while the cold and flu viruses were still out there, despite the fact everybody acting like they weren't out there, lowered your immune resistances to those
Yep.
things. I mean, surprise, surprise, you know, but yeah. So we just had somebody new come into the chat. We will be getting around to saying hello to the chat in just a moment, but I would like to shout out to Cuban Crisis here. Thanks for being here. We're just in the beginning of the show, man. Just kind of catching up on how we're doing and all that stuff. We do a variety of topics on here, like bizarre news items, just kind of fun. We're doing a new series right now called that Larry's titled Versus, where we're taking like monsters from fiction and pitting them against each other and kind of a who would win kind of thing, and just sort of a chill stream for the most part. But you're more than welcome. More than welcome.
Yeah. Like he said, Cuban, welcome. I will be putting out tonight's agenda in just a few minutes after we greet the rest of the chat.
Greetings.
Good night.
In or
man.
out?
I know you guys keep throwing me in there.
Well, it wasn't me. I was the one to let you up.
The devil got power too. So.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, dude, I still have power. Shit, I thought by now you would have taken it away.
Only God can do that, Satan.
Anyway, welcome to the show. How you doing?
How's it going? Just got off work. Literally, walked through the door, and I was all like, "Shit!" Run over and turn on the thing. What's up, Zillage? Oh man, I am pooped.
I imagine.
Yeah, I imagine. You know what? Let's go on and we'll greet the chat. I just want to do this part, Sam, because I know this is what you love. So I'm gonna let you get on with it. But I want everybody to look at this, and I want everybody to look at this. This was at 6:21 p.m. today. This was at 6:22 p.m. today. This was at 1 o'clock this afternoon, 1:04 to be exact. You weren't first. Go ahead, Sam. You can continue.
I'm kind of surprised it took you all so long to use that. Like Larry and Kohai specifically usually get in here like right after I set up the stream, and I did that at like 9 o'clock this morning. So,
well, I was in the ER, so
yeah.
By the time I got back, I mean, shoot, by the time I got to the ER, I walked out. The rest of the hospital was a ghost town. I mean, it was packed when I got in there. When I got out, shoot, everything was closed down. The information desk was gone. I was like, dang, where the hell is everybody? People looking at me like, what the hell are you still doing here? Like, what are you doing here?
Well, I thought I'd start paying rent and set up shop right here in the corner. Nice. Air conditioning. It's good. So, all right, we'll say hello to the chat. Hi, Andy, over on Rumble. We are currently also on Rumble and Twix. We're back on Twix as of this week. Got verified last week, so hopefully we'll see some people over there as well. Kohai as well, the Demon Memer, and first among moderators, we have Beak in the chat. Get silver. You even got Beak doing it, man. Beak doesn't get involved in shit. No, we got Suka. Yeah, he is. Suka's in with us. Aaron, Laura, always a pleasure. Let's see. Scrolling down, we got Zillage. I'm glad you're back in chat, my man. We missed you while you were gone. So, Clue Channel. Sam likes Sade. I think he's human. Who the fuck doesn't like Sade? Right? She's a smooth operator. See what it did there?
don't be that guy.
This is in reference to a tweet that I put out the other day. So Illuminati Bot puts out this thing, and Devil, I know you saw this, where it says the CIA watches you masturbate, right? Which I think is true because they watch everything you do all the time, them and the NSA. And so I had this tweet kind of blow up. That I just replied to it and I said, well, that's why I light some candles and I put on a little Sade. You know, I mean, they came for a show, right? And it's just like I'm still getting likes on that 2 days later.
That's why Dermy tried to join the organization. So I get to watch people. I'm in.
If indeed. We've got Released to McCracken in chat. Good to see you, brother. How you doing?
Kraken.
All right. And first time here, Cuban Crisis. You're more than welcome to hang out. We do a couple of shows on this channel. And it's all very incestuous. Everybody that you might see on this channel, I probably, or Larry, has one of the two of us has streamed with on other channels. We do this throughout the week. It's kind of a weird little internet circle jerk. Incestuous, yes. And we're like a weird little family, always sharing around our streams and shit.
Yeah, we all got the same Rolodex. It's like, yeah, there you
go. That's true. We got Jacob Gallo with us tonight. Good to see you, man. I think, we have Amanda Souter in chat. Welcome in. So we, I think that catches us up, Larry.
Me mentioning a Rolodex just ages me. Like, if Gal was here, she'd be giving me shit.
I actually have one.
You still have one?
Yeah, they're useful.
You know, I'm glad that you mentioned Gal Devil, because while I tell everybody what tonight's agenda is, I'm going to drop some names on you, and I want you to think about this and take your time. You don't even have to give the answer tonight, but I'm going to start with some names: Kohai the Demon Memer, Gal, Nomi, Toasty, Tiny but Fierce, all of the ladies that have been running long and hard with our crew for the longest. Which one of them is most likely to be the final girl in a Friday the 13th movie?
Ooh, that is tough.
Think about it. I'm talking Horror Amurata, Selena. Although with her being the screen queen, she's most likely to be Ghostface. But
okay, I'll put this out right from the bat. I don't think we'd have to worry about the girls surviving. I'm pretty sure the girls in our group would kill whoever the killer was. They're not they're not made of that soft shit.
I mean, at least one of them is actually trained to kill people. So
yeah, there you go. That being said, I don't know Kohai that much. I've seen her memes and stuff, but you know, I don't know her, so I can't say Kohai.
Well, Kohai would probably help Jason anyway. So
well, she's a demon, and you know, I've trained them well. Oh God, I don't know. Horror would set up traps. I know that she's too smart. Gal would probably try to kill the thing straight out. Just grab some weapon and go straight at him. Oh God, I don't know. That's a hard question. I feel like however I answer, I might be killed in myself. So
Nomi would either make a good retreat, or she would say the hell with it and grab every gun she can and do exactly what Gal would do.
Yeah, she just kicked the damn killer across the bar.
Yeah. I figured that's gonna be a topic that's a good conversational topic. That's gonna take a while, and I'd love to ask the ladies themselves and see what they think, and I'd of course tell them you can't pick yourself. That'll throw a monkey wrench in it. But as for tonight, guys, so we have some Abyssal, some infamous news. We have 4 articles. Don't worry, nothing too crazy. And then we have tonight versus. It is Randall Flagg versus Emotep. I just love saying that. I love that. That's my favorite part when what's homegirl's brother was running and he turned that corner and all those possessed people there and he was like, "Oh, Emotep." But yeah, Yeah, that is the plan for tonight. And I'm not gonna beat around the bush and have us wait. Yeah, Aaron's right. Amira would blood hunt. Hell, Amira would probably be the one that sent them in the first place.
She could do that, or she could just like are we talking like Jason Voorhees here? Because
Yeah.
she.
No, you know what she would do?
Probably just blow up Crystal Lake.
Yeah, either that or she would stay up at her mansion and then send us to do it.
Keila.
Yeah. She tags you guys
start
in,
throwing her mods at him.
Yeah. Get over there, you dummy.
Hey, Keila, good to see you, man.
I can see her just now too. Go on, Larry. There's no cotton to pick, so make yourself useful for once. Go.
But you laughed at her, but she says shit like that to him.
People don't know how that girl, man, has no filter when she especially when she gets mad. Boy, man, she's yelled at us. You don't know, Double. I mean, my laptop shook a few times. She was yelling at us. You two morons, get over here! Anyway, so this first article, this is definitely not a funny one, but I learned be careful where you put certain bedroom items. Bedroom mirror set our house on fire. Don't make the same mistake we did. So apparently, what happened? Can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
okay.
We can.
For some reason, I can't scroll down on it.
When you read the headline, my head went somewhere else. I was all like, "Oh crap! Some chick left her like freaking big ass freaking that dragon toy out on the desk as her mom came over or some shit."
So she hadn't changed the battery in 2 years, and the acid just leaked all over like a power cable or something, started an electrical fire.
Well, I definitely would have thought that. Something's going on though. For some reason, it's not okay. There it goes. Yeah, for some reason it froze and I couldn't add it. I mean, I couldn't move the screen down. So I thought I had froze again. So let's see.
Yeah.
No, all right.
You're good on this end.
Okay. So apparently, as we wait for the video to load up, but apparently this British couple was warning the public to keep reflective surface, to basically keep mirrors and anything that reflects sunlight out of the way. Keep it away from the mirror. I mean, keep it away from the windows. Thank you. There we go. Okay. So, dang, this thing, it burned up everything. An English couple and their local fire department are sounding the alarm after a fire was determined to have started in their home by an unlikely suspect. So the wife's vanity mirror did that.
It's one of those. Like little adjustable mirrors, right? Like where you can adjust the angle.
Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned this article while we're going to talk about the mummy later, because they use a similar trick in ancient Egypt to light up fucking rooms with no, internal light source.
Right.
What it did probably was just magnify the sunlight,
well, that's the thing, is those particular mirrors actually do magnify. One side of it actually is a magnification that makes you look bigger, I think. Because I think my sister had one. If that's the case, that's exactly it. It didn't just reflect the sun; it magnified it, focused it.
Yeah, that's bad. Hey, but on the bright side, the cat lived. So I know you're happy about that, Sam.
Damn it! Got away.
Yeah, so it reflected the sunlight onto the bedroom curtains. Can you imagine? Well, I mean, she wouldn't have caught fire because she would have felt it burning, and she would have moved the mirror away long before her face would have caught on fire. But I would think.
It's only got to be concentrated for long enough for a spark to start, right? But if it had just been a little while, it wouldn't have happened. But it was probably sitting there at that angle for a while. But I mean, it's an effective way to start a fire. Like if you need to start one out in the woods, if you have a magnifying glass and sun and nothing else, you can do it that way too, but it does take a while.
Yeah. All you need is heat and oxygen. That's
Yeah.
how fires start. Enough heat, oxygen to breathe, up it goes.
So I'm guessing I was working in the office, which is directly under the room, which caught fire, and I could smell burning, sort of like burnt toast, Michael recalled. I checked my fan to see if it was overheating, went upstairs to see if anyone was cooking, and then I heard the smoke alarm on the top floor go off. 2 fire trucks arrived and subsequently doused the 3rd floor inferno with the blaze brigade. Also managed to rescue the family cat, Tigger.
Of course, his name is Tigger.
He's probably a
retard.
It's probably a tabby too. Fortunately, while many items in the bedroom were destroyed, including a melted TV and blackened walls, the flames were largely contained by a closed door. Now, here's the other thing too. I'm wondering, well, maybe this is going too far with it, but I'm wondering if there was a danger of backdraft because that door was closed.
Well, backdraft, it's not just the door being closed. There has to be a certain circumstances, not just a closed door. It has to burn off all the oxygen. The heat stays, the oxygen's gone. So when you open the door, it breathes, and that's why the fire explodes. Essentially.
Yeah, and generally that occurs usually only when there's like a severe lack of ventilation. Like it's really kind of got to be sealed off. So even like vents and stuff, they've got to be clogged up with ash or whatever to produce that effect in the first place. Because if oxygen is moving freely in and out of the room, number one, the fire's not going to eat up all of it right away, and number two, it's just not going to build up that kind of intensity.
Yeah,
I mean, it'll be intense because it's a fire, but it's not. Right. The backdraft stuff really has to be, like Devil said, very specific set of circumstances to happen.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that those circumstances didn't happen, because old Tigger would probably be a bald kitty right now.
Yeah.
Well, I bet they'd find out, like if there had been a backdraft, an explosion or whatever, it would have knocked that cat right through a wall or a window or something like that, and then they'd find out if he'd live up to his name and bounce.
Well, at least I'd have the next cat video for tomorrow.
So yeah, the rest of this is just pretty much them lamenting about how much they just put money into that room too. They had bought some stuff, but hey, at least they're alive,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I just thought I'd bring this up as this is a public service announcement. I'm sure most people already know not to do this. I would never have left. I don't leave any kind of mirrors near the windows where sunlight can bounce off of it. I don't take the chance. So
yeah, I mean, mirrors, like, it is unusual, I think, that you find a story where a mirror was the cause of fire. Usually it's something a little bit more mundane, or like in the world of streamers, like what we do here. A lot of us have like a bunch of shit plugged into one source, which is a really bad idea too, because you can get similar problems. So just be careful at home with your household items, where they're placed, what they're adjacent to, and what they can possibly interact with, particularly things like chemicals or electrical sources, or as Larry just showed us, mirrors. Also, don't leave your oversized vibrator just going all night, because it'll catch fire too.
Yeah, put away your bad dragon toys.
And folks, for once, it wasn't me that said it.
Right.
So
I wonder if we looked it up, what the main cause of fires in households are. It's probably electrical, I'd say. It just seems the most practical.
Grease and electrical, yeah.
But I mean, there's like, you can have rags in your garage, and the right chemicals put together will cause the heat and will go up. I know I've had friends that actually burnt down their race car, the trailer that their race car was in, because of that. It was in they put the race car into the trailer, locked it all up so they could go the next day. Some rags in the garage that was right next to it lit up, just went up, lit the garage on fire. It caught the trailer on fire, burned their freaking car too.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I mean, yeah, those are grease and electrical are definitely the most common. My opinion, the most dangerous are magnesium fires, which from like if you're I think it's either your washing machine or your dryer, but that thing goes up, and I've seen it because I almost died in a magnesium fire. The firefighters showed up, and we said, "Aren't you gonna go in there and put it out?" And they said, "That's a magnesium fire. The best thing we can do is wait for it to burn up the building."
Yeah.
Apparently, they are very difficult to put out.
Well,
don't even think about trying.
I don't think you can put water on them.
No, you can't.
No, you can. It makes it worse.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's one of those things where you take away the water, what are they going to do? It's not like they have really, really big extinguishers in the back of the truck, like massive truck size ones.
Certain kinds of fires have like certain properties that make them even more difficult to deal with, especially in the household. Grease fires, you don't want to put water on that shit. It just splashes the fire everywhere like napalm. Electrical fires, it doesn't, it just helps conduct the electricity further into your walls and burn more. And magnesium and all that stuff. And what you got to do there in those cases is dousing the fuel isn't going to help. What you need to do is take away the oxygen, smother it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why baking soda is a good idea to keep around, even if you don't have an extinguisher, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
If it's inside the walls, if it's an electrical fire inside your walls, there's not much you can do about that, but get out.
In kitchens, you are required to have two separate extinguisher, one for all other fires, and then one that is for specifically grease fires for that purpose. It is, you just have to know your fires.
Yep.
Yeah.
And with my job in the military, with my MOS, I had to be constantly trained on the different types of fire extinguishers, and that's why I was scratching my head, wondering. I was like, because where I lived at, it was a family compound, so basically, that my uncles had built. So it was me, and then me and my family one, and then my uncles and their wives the next. And I was sitting there, I was looking at them. I said, "Uncle, why don't you? Where's your fire extinguisher?" And he didn't have one in there. But he was in there, and he threw water on it, and that's how he found out.
No. Since water and oil don't mix, the water just spreads the oil. The oil floats on top of it and still burning, essentially just spreads the fire.
Yeah. The water is an Uber at that point.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think. Well, I don't know the specific recipe. I did see come up on my YouTube feed the other day. There's a guy who thinks that he's discovered the actual ancient recipe for Greek fire. I haven't watched it yet. I'm looking forward to it. But I think that the way that stuff actually worked was that it was based on kind of like a viscous, sticky oil substance, and because it was oil, that's how you get the stories about it burning even when the ships were sinking underwater.
Yep. It'll float right on top of the water and just continue to burn.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Going on into the second article. Now, I don't know what the hell's going on with these planes, and not particularly the planes, but people that are getting on them. So this idiot tried to open up the plane door while it was in air, because he was trying to, after eating 10 weed edibles. But that's not all he did. He eats 10 weed edibles, then tries to get one of the flight attendants to have sex with him. Of course, she.
Damn Kenzo.
That was my first thought.
How did he even get it up after 10 of those things?
Man, I don't know, but he couldn't have been sober doing something like that. Now, my next question is, how did he? Excuse me. I guess they weren't really checking his food, and it is American Airlines. So let's see what happened when they got old guy.
Eric, how are you doing? Very well. And yourself? Take a seat on here. He's asked about the legs, and I have clots in my legs. I need hospitalization. I need to go to a hospital. No. Are we having a conversation? We're absolutely having a conversation. We're going to get you the help you need. You want that? Ow! My shoulder! You want that cup of coffee? No. Okay. We're going to help you get some. All right.
Did you see the one from the girl too that had this, probably not edibles, but she had the same problem?
Which one? There's several.
Yeah, there's some girl, like, I guess in England, and she's straight in the airport, not butt naked. She has her bra on, but she's like freaking grabbing every guy's crotch because she was pissed that guys said they didn't want to have sex with her. And so she's staying there naked, like grabbing herself, going, "Somebody fuck me." It's like,
what?
Desperate.
I mean, I've seen that shit happen before, just not in an airport.
And you obliged, did you, Sam?
No.
Damn,
When
Saturday
you're walking
night.
down an alley past a bar and some random chick drops drawers and is like, "Hey, you want to fuck me?" Like, no, you keep going because you don't know what she's carrying. Number one, right? You don't want to take that risk. And number two is if you're in a dark alley in the middle of fucking nowhere when this is happening, chances are there's a pimp around the corner with a fucking billy club waiting to roll your ass.
Yeah, like, how many red flags do you need? Like, seriously, I don't think I would do that with a girl I did know. Like, if a girl I knew was all like just drop trow and start, fuck me right here in the alley, I'd be like, you're fucked up.
He's like, I'm gonna wake up in a seedy motel bathtub tomorrow with one of my fucking kidneys missing. Aren't I?
Wait, hold on. Homeboy was singing. He was singing.
You say potato, I say potato. Donald Trump 2024. We're Joe Biden. I don't mind.
He's so high.
I gotta see that again.
You know,
not the promotion that Donald Trump wanted. Endorsement.
2024. We're Joe Biden. I don't mind. I'm the new generation.
I didn't catch that part the last time.
I'm the new generation. That's saying something about the new generation, man.
Right? Man, this dude was singing.
Oh man, you know who he reminds me of? Did you guys ever watch Reno 911?
Mm-hmm.
No.
So I can't remember the name of the comedian. He's been in a bunch of Adam Sandler movies, but there's this dude who goes around in short shorts and crop tops on roller skates all the time, and this guy reminds me of that character.
Yeah, I love the one where he's seen there crying, and they're all like, "Are you okay?" He's all, "He killed me, or he murdered me, or whatever." And they're all, "He didn't murder you. You're still alive." And he's like full on crying. Oh, that's classic.
Yeah. It is. I wouldn't be surprised if this guy he gets alone with these dudes and he's like, "Hey, I'll give you a blowjob for $5."
Oh hell no!
That dude doesn't know where he is. Yeah.
He goes, "Yeah, I don't mind. I'm a new generation."
Yeah. Shadow.
So
if you're out there listening, Shadow. He's one of your people.
Yeah. So he's 26 years old. He's facing federal charges for his behavior, which includes shouting, singing at the top of his lungs, vaping, harassing passengers, and assaulting a flight attendant. At one point, video of the incident shows the New Jersey native having to be dragged out of the bathroom after locking himself in it. Oh, so the video's longer than what we saw.
And to give Shadow credit, he doesn't need any edibles to offer to blow people for $5. So
hey, $20 is still $20.
Oh, I gotta find that video and re-upload it.
$20 is still $20, big boy. Why did I do that?
I don't know, but you're gonna get clipped now.
I do the same thing, Larry. The devil. Little floating devil one still haunts me. People are still using that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this flight
Um,
was going. It was leaving from Seattle, and it was headed to Dallas. This is hilarious, man. Singing "You Say Potato." You see, it's not clear how many milligrams of THC he consumed. Some types of edibles can contain up to 100 milligrams of the compound. Eating 10 of those will put his THC consumption at 1,000 milligrams. Even for a frequent cannabis user, that is a very high dose.
I don't do edibles no more. Actually, I don't really smoke anymore either. 2 times I've done edibles multiple times, but the past 2 times, they didn't go well, and I was like freaking like not knowing if I was breathing or not. I couldn't feel the air entering me and exiting, so I was sitting there like literally panicking. So the only thing I could do was like go and try to force myself to pass out, and hopefully when I woke up I'd be like over it. So after that I said no more edibles for me, no more.
Yeah, fair enough. I live in what they call a contact high state because all of that shit's still illegal here. Every state that borders Wyoming, on the other hand, it's medical marijuana is legal in, but not here.
But here's a question about that though. Let's say you decide to do it anyway. Ain't a lot of you out there who's going to arrest you. Any cop out there is probably going to have to drive 120 miles just to go after you.
I don't live in a like open prairie, dude. I live in a town. There are cops here.
Yeah, but are they full time?
Yes.
How much are they getting paid?
We've got about 40 of them.
You've got 40
of the city police, and then you've got the sheriff's deputies, who I think number more than that, plus highway patrol, and also the local FBI field office is about 2 hours from here.
Okay. And
there are more cops here than you think.
Well, shoot, that Wyoming only has like what 500,000 people.
Less. It's actually I think it dipped under 300,000. Last year we're starting to see a little bit of an increase, but it's not unless certain people get into the White House and start opening up the energy sector again, in which case we're going to experience another boom, and we'll probably jump up over 500, over 500,000 at that point, just because
I think it's going to be
for work.
I think it's going to be higher than that. I think you'll hit 1.3. Not right away, but I think over a couple of years period, yeah. Because people will be out there for work. I mean, it'll be an influx, They'll go there for work and then they'll leave and somebody will take their place.
But we're not gonna see that many people at one time, no.
Yeah.
Maybe. So yeah, we will probably experience a boom in terms of labor and all that, because once the energy sector gets up and running again, depending on who ends up in office, but once that does happen, oil and coal are gonna be back on the market again, and there's a lot of push towards transitioning towards rare earth minerals, uranium and such, for nuclear conversion of coal-fired power plants, which I do believe they're Bill Gates, motherfucking Bill Gates, has been part of a project that they're breaking ground on in another town, but here in Wyoming, in a place called Kemmerer, where they're opening up, I forget exactly, I think he said it was a natrium plant, which is essentially like, using, I guess, sodium in the process of the whole nuclear thing. It is a nuclear power plant. It just involves sodium somehow. And all that, but that's supposed to be opening up in the next 10 years, something like that. It's first of its kind anywhere, and we got selected because our dumbasses let Bill Gates come into the state, frankly.
Same mistake Ohio made, and likely other places too. I remember reading about that. He went to Ohio and just started buying up a bunch of farmland and just he's just sitting on it.
Yep. because if you control, it's all about control. If you can control the food, it's another step to control the people. So yeah, why not? He's sitting there saying he's going to make everyone eat the bugs. Well, yeah, buy up the farmland and not grow anything on it, and people will be forced to eat your damn bugs.
Yeah, but he's forgetting about eminent domain, and also he's forgetting about the fact that he doesn't live in Ohio, and people know where he lives. Like, dummy, you can be found if you're going to play that game.
Yeah,
because I
all you
happen
got
to
to
know.
do is get past his private army.
Yeah. Well, hey, trust me, you laughing, but there's ways. It can happen depending on the type of person, the training, or whoever decides to get to it. All right.
No.
So
we are in
plus
no way promoting any kind of attack on Bill
Nope.
Gates. We want
No.
nothing
Nope,
to
not at
happen
all.
to him.
No, of course not. But
I mean,
but I'm just saying in general. Also, man, look, Ohioans, like, this is just my opinion. I would put it past somebody to just say, oh, he's gonna do that. No, we gonna grow some stuff on that land. All right. I mean, just with my brief stay over there, I noticed they are serious about, growing their crops and all that stuff, and he gets to play in those types of games. That's not gonna go well with them. They are not gonna put up with that.
Well, there has to be they have to pass some law that says if you don't, I don't even know how they would do it, but something that says if you're trying to sit on land to and not using it for purposes it's for, that, like you said, eminent domain or something. Because if he actually buys this and he's actually growing food, then fine, all the power to him. He has every right to. But if he doesn't, and he's just sitting there on land, not doing anything with it solely for some globalist purpose crap, then fucking take it from the bastard.
Now, what he will say is, "Oh no, I'm growing bug farms on it."
Yeah, that's probably exactly growing the crickets.
I mean, check your bags of snacks and shit that you keep that we all buy. Like, the Americans were notorious for junk food. We eat a lot of garbage, right? Stuff that wasn't good for us anyway. Stuff that's been processed to within an inch of your life. Stuff that's got preservatives in it, quote unquote preservatives, that are really carcinogens, that most of us can't even pronounce, right? And these are all in your ingredients lists of all of this stuff. But if you go down, you get a bag of potato chips and you look at that ingredient list, and it says anything like, relating to insects whatsoever, right? I wouldn't eat it. I just wouldn't eat it. There's no potatoes in that fucking thing. There's probably not even real fucking cooking oil in it.
That's why I don't eat anything with anything natural in it. I'm trying to avoid bugs. That's the purpose.
Right?
What's this, an actual ingredient in my chemical chip?
Yeah, it's just
fuckers?
fucking toys for me.
Where are you trying to go here, Pringles?
It's My Chemical Romance.
You better replace that flour with some actual good stuff. Yellow dye number 40 and
right. I'll get off my soapbox about it here and now. This is obviously something that I could wax on about, and we may bring up tomorrow on Screaming Into the Void. But
Go for it.
Yeah, just remember, folks. Just remember, right? There are parts of insects that we can digest. That yes, you can live on. That yes, are nutritious, if not disgusting. I mean, like they're gross, but you can live on them. But the chitin that they're grinding up into this flour, right, is not something that we can digest. We are not set up for it biologically. Yeah, it will shred your insides, and you can't digest it.
Yeah, it's like you're literally as far as your body's concerned, you're swallowing glass.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's so much of our food we have fucked with to the point of not being able to go back. Like wheat. The reason so many people have a gluten allergy is because we fucked wheat up. Natural wheat originally, nothing like what we have now. What we have
corn.
now, corn, same thing, exactly. We have changed stuff from what it was intended for naturally, and we have genetically fucked with it so bad that we have ruined it with flour. That's the thing, is we have made it to where now people are getting to the point they can't process flour, which is one of the most common food sources. And yeah, it's just crazy. And yeah, now we're gonna do with bugs. We're gonna start feeding people stuff that they can't even digest, and is probably actually hurting their insides.
Well,
all
and that's what
because
we want. Two birds with one stone. We're feeding these people, and it's gonna kill them.
Yeah. Well, if you can't
Hey,
eat the
Sasquatch.
bugs, I guess we'll move on to Soylent Green.
I mean, Suka's got a great question here. What happens when chitin builds up in your system? I have no idea. I don't think anybody knows yet. Nobody eats that much of it. You know, even people who do have bugs in their diets, and there are people who do, you know, usually less civilized people. But there are people who do. Like, nobody eats so much of this stuff that it just like clogs up your system like red meat, you know. So we don't really know what happens. I'm not looking forward to finding out myself. Yes, Amanda Souter, humans ruin everything. This has been a long-standing thing that I've said for a long time, and my mother's finally coming around to my way of thinking. But all the problems in the world, right? Every problem that exists, all comes down to one single common denominator, and that is people. No more people, no more problems. And apparently the WEF agrees, because they're actively trying to make that happen.
There's two people
now I'm done.
here.
I'm off my soapbox.
Dude, you know what? Listen, I'm not saying whether I agree with you or not, because I'm pretty sure that because of you, the NSA is listening to us right now, or somebody, some three-letter, who knows? Because they're either trying to catch you so they can dissect you, or they're going to try to catch you because they want to shut you up. But I'm going to say this. If the WEF was an animal at this point, in opposition to you, it would be Moby Dick and you would be Ahab.
Why would they be watching us? We're not masturbating.
It's wishful thinking.
It says you.
Yeah,
I ain't got that's why I'm the only one on camera. Damn it! I didn't even think about that. Hold on, I'm getting off camera.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right, though, Larry. I am kind of going a little bit Ahab with this stuff, and it is like it's possible that I'm a little nuts. It is possible, but I don't know. I keep seeing shit crop up, like that thing that happened with the boxing in the Olympics. Apparently, the person who certified the triple chromosomed man lady and said that she was okay is in fact a comms director at the WEF. So I'm just saying, like, it's not like there aren't clues.
Yeah. I feel bad for the Italian girl. That I understand that she wanted to go ahead and fight and do what she had to do. You go ahead, but I mean, dang, I feel bad for her. Like I said, I understand she tried, and the easy thing for myself, for being somebody who's never worked or tried any sport to get into the Olympics, the easy thing and probably the most disrespectful thing that I could say to them is, oh, they did that? Okay, then just boycott. Nobody fight him. He'll get his gold medal, but who did he fight? Does he want to win like that?
Well, the thing is that might be exactly it. That's the reason some of these guys do this. It's like that. Who's that swimmer? One that Riley Gaines is.
Riley
lost her.
Oh yeah.
What's his name? The dude one. Anyway,
I can't remember his name.
Yeah, he's not important enough. That's exactly it. He was ranked like
200, like 2,048,000 or something like that.
It was closer to 465th.
He's got his Lizard Thomas. I mean, Leah Thomas.
Yeah, there you go. And then goes into the I'm a girl now. Probably shouldn't have said that. And then then he's like ranked number 1. So
I just walked into the locker room and he's got his dongle swinging everywhere, and then he's like, "Hey, look at me, I'm a girl just like you," with the penis.
But I don't think it's on the athletes, because they work their ass off to get to this point. Even if they know they're going to have to take the L because of these things, it's up to the audience. I was watching certain things because I do like water polo, I do like volleyball. Second that happened, I stopped. I said, I'm not going to watch another event for this Olympics, and if they have transgenders in the next Olympics, I won't watch shit on that either. If the audience, the viewership drops to the point where they're not making a single penny on this and it just costs money, they're going to either reconsider or they close the damn thing down, which I wouldn't mind if that's how they're going to do it. If this is how they're going to play it, then yeah,
I would agree,
shut
but
the
the
Olympics down.
WNBA is still a thing.
Kohai, what did you do?
I don't know. I gotta go find it.
Well, no, you were saying double.
Yeah, like I said, I watch certain events, but like I said, I haven't watched a single thing since that happened. I whatever I like about those events, I don't like it more than my morals. And I have, I can't. I think it's wrong to take opportunities away from girls because of 1% of the population, less than 1% of the population. If you're talking about actual transgender people, true gender dysphoria, transgender people, they're less than 1% of the population. We are effectively effing over 51% of the population for less than 1%. And to me, that's wrong. It's a tyranny of the minority.
It is.
Yeah. Yes, it absolutely is. But like I said, I would agree about the boycotting thing. I think that it probably is the only way to get a message across. If they're not making any money, then maybe they'll back off. But again, the WNBA is still a thing.
Well, it's going to be a thing no matter what because it doesn't make money. Yeah, there's no way to make them make any less money than they already do, and they keep it going. So yeah, but it is changing. It is the tide has turned in our favor. Like you've seen it all over the place. This backlash to this, not just the pushing of this, but a lot of states have said now that you can't in schools, you can't call a kid by the wrong name unless you address it with their parents first. You have to make them aware. And then of course, you have states like California, they're pushing back against that. But it's the tide's in our favor as far as stopping this crazy shit. And that's the rubber band effect that I've talked about many times, that whenever something in society pushes forward past where society is as far as our consciences and our kind of as a group consciousness of stuff, when you push out too far in one direction, there's inevitably a snapback, a rubber band effect. And the problem you have is it can sometimes be very violent. And so with how bad they've been pushing this transgender thing, saying that if a kid at 2 years old says, you know what, I like the color pink, the teacher is able to literally manipulate your child into thinking that they're a girl, and they don't have to make the parents aware. When you push out that far on crazy shit like that, you're going to cause that rubber band effect. And like I said, ultimately it could be very dangerous, because when the snapback happens, people can get upset. And which is something they actually want. Like I said, they want a trans George Floyd situation. Mm-hmm. Instead, they get the trans George Floyding everyone else.
Yeah, that's been something that got brought up by, I think, James Lindsay like 2 years ago, or not even 2 years ago, sometime around I want to say probably around Uvalde, right? Mm-hmm. So it would have been last year, right? Had said something very much to the effect of what you just said, is that they're trying to martyr one of these kids, so that we'll have no choice but to they'll have no choice but to go to war against the populace.
Yep.
Yep. So I did find that thing, Kohai, and I'm going to play it. Brace yourself.
Go ahead, because we've got 2 more articles to go through. $20 is still $20, big boy.
You.
Larry's not laughing.
Memes hurt, guys.
I mean, if it helps at all, that's still Shadow's face.
That's honest to God, that's the whole reason. I've told this before. The whole devil thing only came about because people wanted to shorten my full name, which is Devil Made Me Do It, so everyone just started calling me Devil. The whole reason I went for Devil Made Me Do It wasn't because in any way the devil part. It was just the take no responsibility for what I'm putting out there as far as a memeing goes. You know, I create a meme. It's not my fault. Devil made me do it.
Right.
The whole devil thing just split off of that because people were like, I ain't saying that whole damn name and just call me the devil. So I was okay, I'll go with it. But yeah.
Indeed. So let's just sweep that under the rug. Larry, what's the next article?
Well, as you can see, we have a Bigfoot sighting.
Yeah, Caucasian Sasquatch was in the chat earlier.
Yeah, I noticed he dipped in and out. But yeah, no, it was nice to see him. But yes, we have a cryptid sighting, which alleged to have resurfaced in a nature documentary footage. Tell me what that looks like.
Like a fucking dog.
Or a bear,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Could be bear.
Something like that. Yeah, it looks like it's on 4 legs, and yeah, it's got 20 ears.
Look, I'm not against the idea that Bigfoot might exist. I'd be totally psyched if he did. But I ain't gonna freaking believe it till I see the son of a bitch stand up on video and do like the Charleston. I'm so sick and tired of these footages where it's like, oh, look, see this little black thing amongst the bush? That's a Bigfoot. No, it's fucking not. God damn it, dude.
I mean, the fact is, here's what we're looking at. There's no definition on it. It's too far in the background. If you were to like zoom in on it, unfortunately, we don't have technology like they had in the movies in the 80s where you could just go enhance and press a button and it, you know, clears up the image. That's not how that works. So it's just going to pixel out the closer and you get to it. There's no way to tell what it is from this angle. But yeah, from here, it kind of looks like a dog, you know, like a big black dog maybe, but a dog nonetheless. You know, I can see where they're getting at that because, you know, like if you kind of squint a little bit, it looks like it's coming up behind a ridge and it's like an arm and a shoulder swinging behind it and the head up top. You know, so I kind of get where they're saying it's Bigfoot, but honestly, Devil, I'm with you on this. My first impression was that was some kind of 4-legged canid.
Yeah. And there's nothing in the background that can give us a size comparison. It's not next to a rock that they could go out and measure and say, okay, this is how tall it is. It's literally just a black blur in the middle of a field, and they're all, oh, it's Bigfoot. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think it's a damn Rottweiler running through a field.
Very, very likely. It does look like a breed that's at least similar to a Rottweiler, you know, just from the shape. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not against the idea that they're ape-like hominids out there. I mean, there are enough stories about them all over the world, and they all have similar descriptions. There's probably was something like that at some point, if there's not currently. But
this is from a 2001 film, The Great North.
So why is this coming up again? Then this was probably already thoroughly debunked.
Why is it coming up now? A user on Reddit recently posted the scene in high definition to a page dedicated to finding Bigfoot, reigniting the debate that was originally sparked during an interview with Reeves 8 years ago. So because a Redditor posted it and did his thing with it, this came back up. Oh, wow. Okay.
So we can't see the legs, but this is what we think the legs look like. And yeah, this is them trying to make... I hate some people.
Where's the horns or the ears?
Right?
Or are they going to try to say he was wearing some kind of weird ghillie suit?
Like that guy who was copping a squat out where that train was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one. I don't know, man. That's just it's kind of ridiculous. I'm gonna bring something up on screen here in just a second to give you guys an example of like I showed some of these previously on this show a couple weeks ago. So some of you guys in the chat have probably already seen this image, but I'm only bringing this up as an example of detail, right? So this is an image that I took from my camera phone. It's probably a little smudged too, but look at that fucking detail. They're absolutely right when they say, oh, well, we can take pictures of all this cool stuff, but how come we can't get an image of Bigfoot that's not blurry? Unless they're using some kind of cloaking technology, which would be weird because they don't wear clothes. But I'm getting all this kind of detail from a shitty phone on the back of or a shitty camera on the back of my shitty phone that's like 5 or 6 years old. Right. This photograph is a couple of weeks old, a couple of months old, I think.
Wait, so you pooped on your camera and your phone?
Sure. We'll go with that.
I'm
That's
asking.
not what I said at all. But shitty is in not good.
Okay, you need it. You should make sure that people know that.
It's a common fucking saying, man.
I don't hear you say it often. So it's not common where you're concerned.
I'm not doing this. I'm not doing the language games. I'm not doing it. Nope.
But you're talking.
Yeah, I'm saying no. Point is that I have technology in my pocket that would allow for greater detail than they got with that dog. Or whatever the fuck it is. And even like more current stuff that's coming out, like the footage of the train and all that. Where that train was going by the hill and they saw what they thought was Bigfoot. And it was, I was surprised they didn't pull out a newspaper while it's copped a squat kind of thing. But was still kind of grainy and blurry. I get that they were in motion, but
yeah, I think this is Andy Pickle. There's a lot of green. He's hanging around in a corner. I mean, we've seen a photo of him. We think that's him. And that's the other thing too. You've seen Andy Pickle's photo also. Doesn't he look like he would be playing God in a Charlton Heston movie? What's the name of the guy that did the Ten Commandments?
Charlton Heston.
Charlton Heston, yeah.
The problem I have, every country in like the world practically has some sort of ape-like cryptid. So it's like I said, that does give it credence that there could be something out there. At least
North America's got like 6 of them.
Yeah, you have the skunk ape, you have the rougarou, you have the Sasquatch, but the problem I have now is back 60 years ago. Yeah, absolutely. You could have something hide out there there is plenty of places where, man still hasn't walked type thing. So it's possible, but with how many people just have camera phones and stuff now, either why haven't any of them, like you said, caught a clear picture of it?
Right. And everybody records everything nowadays.
Yeah, and it would be one thing, like I said, if these creatures were only sticking to the deepest, darkest woods, the places, like I said, where you can go 200 miles away from the nearest civilization. Absolutely, something could hide. But supposedly these things are going up on people's lawns and stuff, right? We're getting all these things where, oh yeah, Bigfoot was out back of my house. Look at this print in the ground, right? So they're out amongst at least the wilderness parts of these states, but yet no one's got a picture of it. Like here in California, we have literal museums dedicated to Bigfoot in around where I live, in fact. Yeah, but somehow with all these camera phones, every single person having a camera phone, like you have babies born with a camera phone in their fucking hand now, And somehow, yeah, we still haven't got a picture that we could definitively say that is something that's not human, you know. So yeah, it to me it's getting more and more likely that it's not real. So
Yeah, I mean, Sasquatch and I have talked about this at length. You know, obviously for obvious reasons. But he and I were discussing at one point the theory that perhaps that they're in fact more advanced than us, and that they use some kind of like pocket universe technology to move from place to place, and that's why they can just like vanish in thin air kind of thing. That maybe they're not 100% in sync with the prime material plane that we exist on, which would be why they're blurry, because they're not totally here kind of thing. But again, this is just speculation from a couple of nerds on the internet. There's probably nothing to that. They're probably not really a thing, at least not a thing insofar as we've discovered any concrete proof of.
sometimes you and Sasquatch's conversations scare the shit out of me, man.
That makes
You guys
cool.
are way too smart for some of the weird stuff you come up with. What if Sasquatch has cloaking technology? Is what? What the hell?
I mean,
What if Sasquatch was placing pipe bombs under the ground of every city in LA? You know, I mean, just or California. It just I backstage, I've seen them come up with some stuff, and I'm just like, thank God you two aren't terrorists.
yeah, that's probably true. I recognize the fact that both he and I have certain character traits that are reminiscent of a certain man who was known as Kaczynski, which is unfortunate. But neither one of us are sending things out in the mail that shouldn't go in the mail. I am going to say that.
Hey Suka, are you sure? Are you sure about that? You sure nobody has a photo of Sam?
My mother does. It's irritating.
The state of Wyoming has a photo of Sam. He has a driver's license.
Pretty sure the FBI's got one.
Yeah. The FBI knows your dick size too.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure the FBI's had current photos of me since like 1998.
Yeah. So, I would say that, Suka. Trust me. So, somebody photos of him exist. At least the state of Wyoming's got photos of it.
Yeah, not as many as there exist of other people generally, because people, you know, get pictures taken of them and they take pictures all the time. It's like one of those things about documenting your life or whatever. I've always been kind of camera shy. I was looking back, you know, there's an old superstition among Native Americans about how, you know, if you get your picture taken, it steals part of your soul or some shit like that. I never really believed that, but I did tell people that for a long fucking time, and it's a matter of they tended to leave it alone. So, you know, but yeah, and most of the photographs that I have had of me that I was able to get my hands on, and negatives and such, I have destroyed. But that's just because I don't like cameras. I don't like my picture being out there and that kind of thing. There are some exceptions. Obviously, I can't take all of my mom's photo albums and burn them. That would be bad, according to her.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
that was there's also that tasteful spread you did for Playgirl magazine.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
I mean, yeah, but they were paying me. That's different. Yeah.
Now, on to our last article before we get down to the action. So, you guys, I'm sure Sam and I, we've been married, we've been to weddings. Devil, I'm not going to speculate because I don't know your personal life like that.
Not to each other, folks.
Yeah, I mean,
I was just gonna say to clarify.
But I'm sure you've been to a wedding or two, and some people might make they like to do something special with the ring bearer. This couple decided to have an owl be their ring bearer, and the owl took the ring and flew away.
Well, of course it did. It's an owl.
People do stupid shit.
Ring bearer owl causes a flap by disappearing for 7 hours during wedding.
I mean, what idiot thought they could train an owl?
Well, many people have trained owls and use owls, man.
Yeah, Harry Potter.
Harry Potter's not real.
How dare you?
That bird was not playing. He was not bringing that. The bird's looking at him like the bird is staring at them like how a cat stares at humans.
The only way I'm tying something valuable to the leg of a bird is if on the other leg I tie a little explosive. You're not flying off with my freaking $2,000 fucking ring. You
you're trying to turn it into a General Fried Chicken.
that thing runs off with it.
Yeah, So the owl caused a flap by taking off with the rings during a wedding and refused to come back for 7 hours. So this Colin Russell was at an artist convention in Kirkstall Abbey in England while a wedding was taking place. He noticed the bird, which was supposed to act as a ring bearer and deliver the wedding bands to the couple, fly off. That's what he did. The owl disappeared to the top of the abbey and perched in a windowsill, much to the dismay of the wedding party and their 50 guests. Its professional handler desperately tried to lure the bird down with a piece of chicken with no avail. Colin, who was attending the art convention at the abbey, captured the drama on camera. That bird was pissed. And see, people don't understand. Owls and wisdom. Owls are synonymous with wisdom and being incredibly intelligent. Did they not think that this bird was going to take advantage for some kind of revenge on somebody if he got the chance?
There you go, clue. Damn owl was David Bowie. That fucker.
He's like, I'll show you dance magic.
Yeah.
To the DJ.
And Kohai's right. The bird probably didn't get paid. I want no damn chicken. I know what you want. You obviously want these rings. It's going to take more than this chicken. The wedding continued with the other birds on display, and the rogue owl is said to have returned at 8 p.m. At some 7 hours after it flew off around 1 p.m. He said it seems like they had been ready to do the rings, but the owl went away. He flew up to the top of the abbey and stayed there all night. I had to stand on the other side of the museum. It was my lunchtime. So he's just describing what he was going through. Somebody tried to lure him down with a piece of chicken. He's like, hell no, I ain't hungry enough to give up these rings. It was a mix between devastation from the couple, but I was in hysterics and the handler was so professional about the whole thing. I left at 5 and I spoke to the handler who deals with the birds. The owl did not come back with the rings in the end. So he kept them there.
What? Also, don't you love that when like the preacher says, "Does anybody object?" The freaking owl's all fuck yeah, and then took off. Like if that's not a sign, you gotta sit there and go, "Hold on, maybe we should consider this shit." The bird's on something here.
He's like, that son of a bitch will not marry my great love.
Bird's all like, I saw what you did with the groomsmen. She's a cheating hoe, dude. Run.
Yeah, these big ol' eyes saw exactly what you did in the coat room.
Yeah, remember this? Remember when I wanted that whole plate of chicken and you said I had to be fair to the other birds? Nah, we ruined everything.
Yeah.
I mean, look, go bring the whole damn bird.
I get the idea of like theme weddings and like, you know, gimmick weddings and that kind of thing. I understand why people want to do stuff like that, but there are certain things that you gotta like. It's hard enough wrangling human beings, right, to get everything to go off just right. And I never considered the fact that this animal is a living, breathing thing with its own will, and whether or not it was trained, it could just decide to just fuck off with the rings like this one did, right? And that's outside of your control, 100% outside of your control. You can't guarantee that it will perform as planned, right? So like I just don't understand why people would go and risk something like that when they wanted to like be all special and shit. I get a fucking schnauzer and put a pillow on its back or something, you know, and then like some bacon in your pocket so it comes right to you.
Okay. With that said, folks, it's time for verses. Devil, what do you know about Randall Flagg?
It is a character from Stephen King novels, like The Dark Tower, or I think, right?
Among other shit.
Hey, because I think Sam has your email, right? Can you send him the links to send him the links to the notes that I found on both
Yeah, I can do that.
Emotep
I can just
and
forward it
yeah.
to him.
That way, Devil's not sitting there.
Well, I know that he's a he has like necromancer powers. He's something like he likes chaos. He wants kind of like what Sam does. He wants everything to fall apart and be destroyed.
Pretty much. And be breakdancing in the middle of the world falling apart.
Yeah.
I mean, I like to party.
Okay. So we know that Randall Flagg, of course, is a Stephen King character. He is a sorcerer that was empowered by the Crimson King. Kind of reminds me of another movie monster. And in fact, actually, I decided to add two more on today, but it reminds me of Shang Tsung a little bit as far as him being empowered by somebody else. But he is, I would say he is probably one of the, I always thought of him as being the main antagonist of several of Stephen King's books, including the whole, you look at, he's the main villain of
Stand,
the Dark
right?
Tower. Yeah, the Stand, the whole Dark Tower series, because he has multiple names. So in the Dark Tower, he's known by his real name, which is Walter Paddock.
Mostly they just call him Walter, the Man in Black.
Yeah.
Or and then I think he went by Walter in Eyes of the Dragon as well, or just Flag. One of the two. Yeah. I don't remember.
The Ageless Stranger, the Walking Dude. Hey, Beelzebub.
I mean,
Legion, Anubis, the Tall Man.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sam.
He's got a bunch of different names, like Clue points out here. The Walking Dude was another one.
I just said that.
Yeah. So yeah, just tons and tons and tons of names. But yeah, Walter was his name once upon a time, but there aren't that many left alive who still remember it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I figure, Sam, I'll give you the floor on this one on Randall.
Yeah. So Randall Flagg is he's mortal, but he's a sorcerer, right? He comes from I think his origins are actually from, I want to say, Midworld, and not so much like Earth, but he walks between different worlds, right? So like the world where the Stand happened is Earth, but it's not the same Earth as the one where Salem's Lot happened. Randall Flagg is not in Salem's Lot, but there is a character in there, Father Callahan, who does intersect with Randall Flagg's story and people who are after Randall Flagg in the Dark Tower series. But they're all from like different kind of alternate Earths, sort of thing. It's a weird series, of Dark Tower. Eventually, I think in book 6, all the fictional characters show up in this world, the real world, and they meet their author, Stephen King. Like, he wrote himself into the story, and Father Callahan particularly has a very difficult time adjusting to the fact that he is in fact a fictional character.
Do they think he's as gay as we do?
It's kind of funny. So the main protagonist is this guy named Roland, who's described as somewhere between like what Stephen King actually looked like in the 70s and Clint Eastwood, right? And he's a magical gunslinger from a land where Arthur was king, and his pistols are supposedly reforged Excalibur kind of thing. Like King writes a lot of shit into this. Anyway, Gilead was the place that he was from, and Randall Flagg is directly responsible through indirect means of the fall of Gilead, and they were like the sacred, Knights of the Round Table, but gunslingers kind of thing. The last of the paladins, and our boy Roland is the only one left. And so, like, when the Dark Tower opens, the first line in it, which is actually one of the most iconic lines in fiction, is the man in black fled across the desert and the gunslinger followed. The man in black in this case being, of course, Randall Flagg, because Roland is hunting him for revenge. But he's jumping across different worlds and all that stuff, and fucking with people here and there, and doing little schemes to kind of like tip the balance towards chaos, towards evil, because he is essentially the eyes and ears and the hands of a being called the Crimson King, who's also mentioned in a number of novels, but only actually appears in like 2 of them in person, who's basically Satan, essentially, who's trying to tear down the Dark Tower, because the Dark Tower is not in fact evil. It's the thing that keeps all the multiverse from collapsing in on itself into chaos and misery and pain and darkness and death for all eternity. The Crimson King wants to tear it down. This guy works for the Crimson King. He is the number one lackey of the Crimson King, above all others, until, of course, the Crimson King's son comes along, who's this weird spider antichrist thing that eats Randall Flagg, but that's later on. So yeah, he's got various powers. It kind of depends on which world he's in, which ones he has access to, and he is more than human at this point. He's extremely long-lived. He's been empowered by his master, but he's not. But he's still like basically human. He's just souped up, and he can do different things in different worlds. Different worlds have different rules, and he still has to abide by those rules. So he's an expert at finding loopholes and that sort of thing. So that's my synopsis.
Well done. Let's look at the powers that this man has. Nigh immortality, immense demonic powers, dark magic, telepathy, mind lecture, mind control, illusion casting, limited shape-shifting, foresight, necromancy, teleportation, telekinesis, pyrokinesis, electrokinesis, reality warping, transmutation, very high intelligence, manipulation, and charisma. Yeah, that's a recipe for a very, 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 very dangerous man.
Mm-hmm.
Necromancy. He has sex with dead people. Ew.
Wrong necro.
I know.
But yeah. So Randall Flagg is he's definitely a bad customer. Now let's see.
He also commands a legion of other beings, some of which are from Todash space, which is the darkness between worlds, and some of which are psychic breakers. With people like Carrie, if Carrie was given over to the government to become a weapon.
Right.
Dozens of them.
Okay. So there's a psychic message projection they were talking about. One of the first powers that he exhibits in the standards is his ability to project psychic messages. He sends a wave of his dark energy that causes people all over the United States to dream. For some, the dreams are nightmares and serve as a foreboding warning that the dark man exists. For others, the dreams serve as a summons, drawing them to join Flagg in Vegas. I always thought this was his true face. I guess he's just making himself look like that.
Kind of. In that world, he had a much more Antichrist-like persona. So he was more demonic in that world than he is in other worlds. And some of this has to do with, like you were saying, he could shapeshift a little bit and he can project images into people's heads and all that stuff. And so, yes, some of this is him appearing more scary than he is. And some of this is just like his true, like the face of his soul peeking out kind of thing. It's a little convoluted and murky.
Like the evil within protruding out a little bit.
Yeah, like your your inner beauty shines through, and in his case, it's his inner ugly.
Yeah.
So,
Clue says if you're not afraid of him, he can't kill you. That sounds like last week's loser.
that depends again on. I think in certain worlds that's absolutely true. In other ones, he's free to kill you. He just can't use his usual tricks. Like, I mean, yeah, he couldn't use his like psychic powers or his, whatever to lay waste to you if you didn't have fear of him in, for instance, The Stand. And in that particular instance, he was bound by a very specific set of rules because the whole thing was like, apocalyptic good and evil, and he couldn't do certain things there. In other worlds, yeah, he could just pick up a gun and shoot you in the face.
Okay, well, that's not an expression of his powers. That's just him doing what the gunslinger is trying to do to him. Put a bullet in him.
I'm just saying that, yeah, he's bound by the rules, like we were talking about with It last week. He's bound by the rules of the world that he's in, as all things are.
But that still has to be a consideration. We're not judging them just on their magical abilities or their supernatural abilities. Michael Myers is, well, up till these last couple movies, was just a really strong dude, but he could still kill you. I mean, if Randall Flagg can still kill you with a gun, he just can't do it with his powers. He still makes him a danger.
Yeah. And he doesn't have to either. He can talk somebody else into do it. That's where he's dangerous at. He could get someone else to do it, somebody who maybe would never have considered harming another person. All he has to do is work on them a little bit and bend their will to his, and they'll do it for him.
Yeah. Like you said, like any good cult leader. And that's very dangerous.
Yeah, imagine if Jim Jones had actual fucking ability to psychically brainwash people instead of just being very charismatic about it.
Yeah, and here's some things that I didn't know about him. So he doesn't display any powers when he first arrives, but does have vague memories of being a Marine, a member of the KKK, a Viet Cong, and playing a role in the kidnapping of Patty Hearst.
He was busy.
Real busy, yeah.
Yeah.
So when the world is ready for his evil, he appears to carry it out and gains magical powers. So I guess, so like you say, he's bound to the rules of wherever he goes. Well, maybe each world that he goes to, he has to create some kind of evil to gain whatever powers that he's allowed to have in the realm that he's in.
Yeah, that would make sense. I don't think that's explicitly stated, but I think that tracks with how he behaves in each universe. Yeah.
I'll be right back, guys.
Okay. So
it's getting too scary for the devil.
This is in the chapter. It reads, "It was almost time to be reborn. He knew. Why else would he suddenly do magic?"
Yeah.
Levitation. The next power that Flagg shows is the ability to levitate. In chapter 31, a man that Flagg has worked with before lays dying of the superflu. Flagg levitates above him and tortures him in order to get a car to drive. What? This is a chapter that was cut from the original edition of the novel, but shows Flagg exercising his power before the plague, but has finished wiping out 99% of the world's population. Of course, if King can levitate, it's likely that he can do it. He can do some other mind control type powers. Of course he can. He can, but at this point in the novel, he's still quite mysterious. Other mind control powers that Flagg has, including hypnosis, mind reading, and the power to glamour or create illusions and visions in other people's heads.
Yeah.
By the way,
that's something else. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
It's something else that he's got really working for him. Is the charisma, right? Is his innate ability to get people to see his side of things, and he does this like not. I mean, I'm sure he uses a little bit of a psychic push here and there, but he's really good at just talking people into doing stuff for him, into joining his side and all that. You know, he's just a very, very charismatic person. And you'll notice throughout the stories, there's only a handful of times he ever loses his shit. He ever, you know, like blows up at somebody or gets enraged or anything like that, because he's very calm. He's very collected, and he presents himself in a certain way. And the only times he ever does that is when it becomes clear to him that whoever he's trying to bend to his will not bend. You know, and then there are some characters who he encounters that he never really gets that angry with, visibly anyway, like Roland, because he knows from the outset that Roland's never going to bend to him. You know, whereas like Clue's talking about here, like some of the characters in there, Nadine, I believe, was the one who was supposed to bear his seed or whatever, and she was all on board right up until she realized who and what he was. And then she defied him by killing herself, which, you know, made him very angry.
Of course.
You know, because it set back all of his plans, all of them. That child was integral to what he was trying to do. And so, yeah, but otherwise, the rest of the time, no, he just works on you quietly and patiently, and he'll take as long as it takes to get you to see things from his point of view.
Yeah. And it says he can summon and control animals, or at least some of them. He sent a pack of weasels to harass Mother Abigail. Why weasels, man? In the scene, she was alone and waiting for the people she has called to arrive. She is preparing some chickens to eat for her intended company when a horde of them come at her, but she was able to drive them away. Okay.
Probably
because they were the local vermin.
Yeah. Each person has their thing, you know. Wouldn't be the critter I'd pick to send at people, but you know.
No, I wouldn't be either.
I don't know. I saw a commercial years ago. It only ever aired once, as far as I know, and it was like one of those unlimited text commercials back when that was a brand new thing. And this weasel jumps out of a box and grips this dude's tongue with its teeth and just starts screaming while it's like biting into his tongue. And of course, he starts screaming and he's running around. This weasel's hanging off his tongue, flopping to and fro and shit. And he's texting for help. And it's still to this day one of the funniest fucking things I've ever seen. But I would not want a weasel to come at me like that.
Hell no. After that, I'm not messing with a weasel. So apparently, Mr. Flag, he can possess people too.
To a degree,
he entered Nadine's mind to partially control her. Now, my question is now: is this like the Jedi mind trick, where the stronger somebody's mind is, the less, or the harder it is to try to control them, and the less of effect it has?
Kind of. The more somebody is aligned with his opposition, with the good, with God, if you will, the less control he has over them, the less ability he has to influence them. You know, the stronger their conviction and their faith and their innate goodness is, the harder time he has getting into them and making them do what he wants. Nadine was already corrupt as shit.
Mm-hmm.
No. So yeah, it's just kind of one of those things. It's a very biblically inspired story. The Stand is.
So he's against God.
Yeah, essentially, he's against the whatever force of. It took me a second, but I got there.
I caught it immediately. I was like, oh, I see this.
I mean, Imhotep kind of said "fuck the gods" too, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, but it was a freaking scarab and a bird-headed creature. That's not the same.
Yeah, it's true. It's not the same. He can create lightning. So he displays. He's able to shoot lightning.
So he's a damn Sith. What the hell, man?
He looks more and more like it. Shoot. One of the last powers Randall Flagg displays in the stand is being able to shoot lightning. In chapter 67, Flagg shoots a glowing ball of fire at one of his men to silence him at the public execution of Larry and Ralph. Why? Why? Unfortunately for Flagg, a divine force that looks to Ralph like the hand of God takes his own electrical fire and uses it to set off the nuke that the trash can man had brought to him as a gift. Everyone is consumed in holy fire.
Yeah. Believe it or not, the story does have a relatively happy ending, all things considered. But yeah, a bunch of people die in a nuke.
Yeah, at the last second, Flagg shows that he could disappear and teleport, in a sense, to another location. Right before the bomb goes off, he vanishes, flashing his true form for a second. A monstrous creature with glowing yellow eyes. However, part of him is destroyed because when he wakes up, he can't remember who he is or where he came from. So he didn't get away scot-free. He took some damage and lost his memory.
Right. But at that point, honestly, like that world was dead. Those two enclaves were all that was left. You know, so yeah.
So the whole world's dead at that point.
Yeah, like the flu, Captain Trips kills literally everybody, and these two enclaves were made up of the very few people who were immune to the virus.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And so when that bomb set off, then okay, well that whole world's dead. Everything's
pretty
gone.
much.
It's a wasteland.
Except for the handful that survived and hung out at Mother Abigail's place. Yeah.
Oh, the ones wait, was there anybody that stayed back?
Yes. Yeah, they only sent a handful of people out to Vegas, and they sent a couple of out of spies, including the MO that spells moon guy, the retard and all that, because Flagg would not be able to see his mind because his mind was too simple. Flagg wouldn't be looking for it, kind of thing. And there were a couple of other spies, and then they sent out like 4 dudes and a dog to go.
Sam?
Okay, am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah.
Okay. You were saying?
So they sent out only a handful of dudes, but there still were a number of people who stayed at Mother Abigail's place in Colorado who didn't go to Vegas, and those people survived, and they're like the hope for rebuilding a new future, a new world kind of thing. But
with just the two of them.
No, I mean there's a community there in Boulder, Colorado.
Okay.
They only sent out a handful of people from that community to face Flagg in Vegas.
No, I got it. I got it. I was looking at what Clue said. He was like, Franny lived and Tom Cullen. So I'm like, okay. Well, honestly, if it was me, I would have rather gone to Vegas, because what the remaining people that were left were trying to rebuild, I don't know how.
I think at some point they started having babies out at Mother Abigail's place too, though. Like there was some small hope for the future, no matter how small it was.
I'd have rather gone over there and got blown up with everybody else. And it was funny the way Mother Abigail, or Mother Abigail, Auntie Abigail, whatever her name, Abigail in law. Anyway, when that hand came on, she was like, "Come on home, boy." And they were like, "Yeah, we're ready." And they're sitting there laughing, and I'm like, she's about to blow y'all up. And you sitting there with a smile on your face. She talking about, "Come on home, boys." Like Aunt Jemima, like Aunt Jemima, like she got pancakes and stuff waiting for them on the side. Now she probably did. I mean, I don't know what heavenly syrup tastes like, but they probably ain't got thorns, thistles, and well, actually, now that I think about it, devil stuff's probably got the good weed in there. Probably got the stuff that wouldn't that you can't well, nobody's gonna sell. They keep it for themselves. But I just thought that was funny. That big old fire hand. Come on home, boy. Like they had a choice.
Yeah. I don't know, but yeah, that's I don't know anything that happened after Flag, because Flag's not confined to that one world, so he was going to get out of that eventually. It didn't matter so much to him that world is dead. It probably wasn't even the first or the last dead world he'd seen.
Right. On the other half, we have Emotep, 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 Emo Clue. I need to stop reading the chat. I looked right at Clue's name and I said Emo Clue. So I'm sure all three of us have seen The Mummy, so we know who Emotep is, right?
There's actually was a real person called Emotep who was the servant of a pharaoh and all that stuff.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, and like we discussed backstage, the first Mummy movie is in fact a remake of a Boris Karloff film, black and white movie.
That's right. But this version is the one that we're concentrating on, and there's a reason for that. Is that this is something that, depending on your point of view, may give him an edge in a fight against Randall Flagg. He has weapons, right? He has a weapon, and he has a utility that he can use at his disposal, which is the Book of the Dead, and then he has the where's the thing at? He has the Spear of Osiris, which he had in the second one. It's what he used to fight against the Scorpion King. So he's got magical items. He's got magical items in addition to magical powers. So, Devil, you, like I said, you've seen the Mummy movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm sure for anybody else out there that doesn't know, Homeboy was messing around with the Pharaoh's his lover.
Yep.
Got caught. Did you want to go? You can go ahead, Devil.
No, I was just saying he's banging the boss's wife.
Exactly. Got caught, got mummified alive, and they made sure it hurt. And of course, he scratched on the inside of the sarcophagus. Death is only the beginning. He gets dug up. He's got followers who believe in his cause, and that's powerful. I mean, you think about that. That's an edge on Randall Flagg right there. This guy had followers already based off his reputation that was already in line with his way of thinking. So he didn't have to work on them to do nothing. They was already there, and they worked to get him back. So what does he do? Go ahead.
Keep in mind that before he was undead, before he was this immortal monster of a creature, right? With untold powers. Before that happened, when they buried him alive, they cut his tongue out, they wrapped him up, they stuffed him in a box full of flesh-eating beetles, right? And somehow, while all that was happening, he managed to get a fingernail loose, just enough to carve death as only the beginning on the inside of his casket, right? Like that takes some dude was hard as nails before he died.
Yep.
You assume he did it with his finger.
I mean, it could have been his dick. I don't know.
Yeah, I would have banged the hell out of the top of the box.
I thought they might have cut it off. I mean, if I was a pharaoh, that's the first thing I'd have went for. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, they're seen there when they cut his tongue out or whatever, and one of the guys is all, "We're gonna do that," and there's, why you gotta go there, Ted? What the fuck, man?
Yeah, all that for that. What was that chick's name? A rocks in her head? No, a Nux in the Moon.
A Nux in the Moon. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but
God, she was hot. Patricia Velasquez.
Oh, both the girls were hot in that.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Now, let's see. Now, so we know what his goals are: resurrect his woman, take over the world. We got that. I have no idea what this is. Malefic. Oh
Malefic.
No, that's Malefic. Okay, never mind. That's his crimes. It's not his powers. So his powers are high intelligence, intimidation, vast magical powers of the gods of ancient Egypt, magic in general, necromancy, cunning, telekinesis, aqua kinesis, draining the life energy of victims, expertise in using weapons, multilingualism, and then he has his mummy physiology, superhuman strength, the speed, the agility, reflexes, stamina, durability, senses, healing, accelerated healing factor. So this guy is stacked.
But he's scared of cats.
It's a religious thing. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's when they talk about all the powers of the gods of Egypt, not just the gods of Egypt, the powers of the God of Abraham. He brings with him the power to control and manipulate and use as weapons the 10 plagues of Egypt.
Right.
So,
go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, that was it. I just said so. ...
This is gonna be a weird fight, man. One of them's all like, "I'm gonna sick weasels on you." The other one's all like, "I'm gonna sick freaking bugs on you."
Locusts.
Yeah.
I mean, let's look at their. What powers do they have in common?
Well,
the necromancy.
They're both essentially immortal in the necromancy. Yeah.
Okay, so we know it's going to be an undead fight. They're both going to have armies, albeit something tells me that Imhotep's army is probably going to be a bit stronger.
You know where you get that from, though, is that Flag tends to recruit locally, right?
Yeah.
And so when he does that, he just gets these yahoos who are easily bent to his will, but they're very, very mortal and very easily broken. Whereas most of Imhotep's minions, like, yeah, he'll throw some mortals at you, but he's also got a bunch of dudes who will get back up when you cut their heads off. So,
yeah. And even with the mortals that he does have, especially you looking at the second one, he's got some battle-hardened people in there.
Mm-hmm.
Intelligence-wise, I think Randall Flagg is more charismatic, but I think he's more charismatic because Imhotep doesn't have to be, and I don't think he cares to be charismatic. I think he's like charismatic is for you know what's, and I'll take the fear and intimidation. That's a lot faster.
Well, I think they're like you said, they both possess different kinds of intelligence. Like Imhotep is very learned. He's very educated, and he's very smart. Whereas Flagg, while also educated to a degree in certain things, he's more clever than he is intelligent. He's really good at figuring out how things work in the short term to affect things in the long term. Whereas Imhotep has, I think, a better grasp of like big picture kind of thing.
Right.
So I don't know, just yeah.
And they both, Randall, as far as the mind control, Randall's mind control is limited versus Imhotep, who was able to just, he brainwashed half a town.
He did brainwash half a town, but I don't think he just like brainwashed just anybody, because as you know, in the movie, like for instance, our heroes and whoever was left of him who he hadn't consumed yet, and a handful of other people were not affected by this. Like this was mostly people who had been affected by some of the other plagues, like the boils and the legions and shit. So he'd kind of put his mark on them first.
Right. So it was a setup. So it was a setup for him to allow stuff to seep in.
Mm-hmm.
I agree
like
with
an
Devil.
infection.
Yeah, I agree with Devil. This is a fight, man. And in some ways, I think it would start out as a fight by proxy. I don't think that these two would show up against each other right away. I think they would send their minions first.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where they would start. I think they would use their powers to brainwash and gather an army. And I think they would use other people initially to fight the battles for them. and when their armies have wiped each other out, then those two will be forced to face each other.
Yeah.
If I got to see them throwing lightning bolts and doing all that stuff, I mean, you look at what Imhotep did. He can do the plagues. You know, he swallowed up that plane when he made that big head of himself out of sand.
I mean, there's something to consider there though too, because Imhotep does have that sand form, right? Say he's in that, and Flag just decides, being the clever monkey that he is, to throw a bunch of lightning at it. You know what happens to sand when you hit it with lightning?
What?
It turns to glass.
It's the glass.
Yeah.
Well, I think actually it has to have it's very specific circumstances too. But
Well, when you heat it, yeah, right. When you cook sand, it turns into glass, and so lightning is definitely hot enough to do that.
But he also controls water too. We see that in
Right.
the second movie. So I mean, he got plenty of stuff in his bag to go at him with.
Yeah, he does.
I think Larry's right, though. I don't think either one of them is necessarily going to get hands-on with each other right away, especially if they've already got their armies. Like, Imhotep is only hands-on when he has to be. He's not afraid to do it, but he just as soon send a minion to do his work for him if he could, get away with that. And there are certain things, like what he uses Benny for. There are certain things that he's just not, wanting to do, so he sends Benny. Like when he went after the guy who took his tongue or took his eyes, and then he was just like, oh yeah, and his tongue, and then he's like, and now I'm going to take everything else.
My Lord Imhotep, what he thanks you for your eyes, now he wants your tongue and your ear and your ball sack, and he wants to take them now.
I don't think that's the line.
Yeah, I know.
So, but no, I don't. I think you're probably right. They're probably going to send skirmishers in first to kind of feel out the other one, sort of gauge that kind of thing. But and they're both capable of apocalyptic scenarios, as we've seen.
Right. So I guess I'll start with you, Devil. Who do you think wins?
Looking at all their powers, looking at what they all bring to the table, I'd have to say Imhotep, just because it seems like Randall Flag he's there to sow chaos and all this stuff. Well, Imhotep has a very specific purpose to his thing. If he's trying to accomplish, and if somebody gets in the way, he destroys them, type thing. So I think that and the fact that he has all those powers over nature, sand, water, all that stuff. I mean, even after, and even the cat thing I was joking about, that only works for a certain amount of time. After he's fully recovered, even the cat's nothing to him. So I think he has the advantage.
Well said. What about you, Sam?
I'm not as sure, because of Randall Flagg's got one thing that Imhotep doesn't have. The ability to walk between worlds. To just slip into another reality kind of thing. And I think he could probably use that to his advantage in a fight to position himself better. Like, oh, I'm here. Well, now I'm in this world, and now I'm back in this world, but I'm behind you, kind of shit.
Yeah, but even if, let's say, he appears behind him and stabs him, it doesn't matter. He would recover. Or he's immune to the physical thing. The only thing that can stop him is the Book of the Dead. So.
And he usually has it.
And again, Flag is protected by essentially Satan. The Satan of the Dark Tower universe kind of thing. He's imbued with his power and all that stuff. I don't think that makes him completely indestructible. Yeah. I don't think that makes him indestructible exactly, but it makes him very, very, very hard to kill. So it would be kind of interesting to see, because like Imhotep does that whole like put his hands on people and suck the life force out of them, right? It would be kind of interesting to see exactly what happened if he tried that with Flag, because I don't think that Flag keeps all of his self in one location. But I think in a straight up 1-to-1 fight, right? I think Devil's probably right. I think Imhotep takes it because Imhotep was a warrior priest first, whereas Flag was a Weasley little magician who was scheming for political power in the beginning. Like I think it goes all the way back to who they were before all this shit started.
Okay. My opinion, my decision is Imhotep takes it. I think if it got into a straight up fist fight, we both know Randall, he has no chance. Imhotep is not going to be afraid of Randall Flag. He is not going to be able to install fear in that man unless he can get his hands on that book. And even then, he's got to be able to read it, and he's got to be able to read that certain incantation to strip Imhotep of his powers. So that's the only chance that he has.
He's got one other chance. He could put like little e-girl cat ears on.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he can. That's just gonna piss him off too. But I agree with Devil. Him jumping between worlds and all that stuff. I think Randall would use that as a means of escape as he's getting his butt kicked. But also, that he has the Book of the Dead, and it is. I'm looking at what does it do? I'm trying to remember. Well, I guess it just has a variety of powers in it, right? So, he can draw from whatever spells that are in that book, and if there's something in there that strips him of his powers, there's probably something in there that augment and protect or protects it from being stripped as well. I think it's safe to assume that. Then he has the Spear of Osiris, which in the movie was made specifically with the ability to kill supernatural beings. Now, Randall's human, but he's got powers. Even still, even if he's not a supernatural being, it's a supernatural weapon, and it goes through him. He's probably not going to be immortal anymore. He's probably going to be dust. I mean, if a giant spider can eat him, then hey, yeah.
Well, the giant spider wasn't exactly a spider, but yeah, I get what you're saying there. I don't think that Imhotep could necessarily kill Flag, but I don't think that Flag would win in a straight up fight. And what's important to remember here is that Imhotep is not a coward, but Flag is and always has been.
Yes. So that's why I'm saying is if they were to get to a fight, Imhotep wins. Realistically, Flag is going to run as soon as his armies get wiped out, because I truly believe that Imhotep's army would win. Yeah, he's gonna run. He's gonna run, and like you said, Imhotep, unless there's a spell in that book that allows him to jump, and to jump into other realms, he's not. He would win by forfeiture, basically. But either way, he takes this one. Since we're all three in agreement, Randall Flag goes into the loser's bracket with Frederick Krueger. With that said, thank you guys for joining us tonight. That is the end. We made it the whole 2 hours. Thank you, Devil. I appreciate you coming. I figure it's best to cut it here because yourself and my co-host, you guys have another show coming up tonight. You want to plug it?
Yeah, here in a little over an hour, we got the pub over on Beelzebub. If you want to check it out, both me, Sam will be there. Green-haired anti-liberal Paul Hadouken. We got and our guest, we have Art by Kenzo is coming back to be a guest. Yeah, so we get to talk to our old buddy. And he's going to try to get Commie Mark on too. I contacted him today. I said, "Are you and Commie Mark still gonna come on?" And he goes, "Oh, I forgot to ask him. I'll definitely be there. And I was all, well, that's Kenzo. So we might have 2 guests, but come check us out there. Then you can check me out Mondays on Mellow Mondays, and then also on Bloodbath at least once a month. And then Tuesdays, every other Tuesday, I do Wrong Think. And we have the first episode of The Devil's Angels done, Manhunter. I've tried twice to put the video up, and the bastards who own the rights have hit it both times. So me and Bug are trying something completely new with it, and hopefully we'll have it up here in a day, maybe 2. And if it works, then that's the setup we're going to have to go with from here on out, because we have been trimming, we did everything. There's no way they can claim it legitimately with what we did. We took a 2-hour movie, made it less than 20 minutes. We talked pretty much the entire time. So that's transformative. Well, we put a watermark on it. That's transformative. There's no way they can claim it as their original content anymore. So they're just being bags of shit.
Yeah. I wonder if that has something to do with your being involved with ST or with Star Trek Engage.
Maybe.
Actually, because we got hit for a lot of shit there.
I don't know. It's just I appealed it. I put the thing forward. They denied it real quickly. I could go through the second step of the process, and I'm sure I'd win, because, like I said, there's just no way you can sit there and say that it infringes on their thing. No one is sitting there going, why would I go watch this movie when I could just watch 20 minutes of it clipped to shit and people talking the whole time? It just, yeah, they're just being pricks.
Yeah. So it's the copyright holders specifically, right? The people who own the movie, the rights to the movie.
Yeah. It got hit for the music too, but that doesn't bother me because everything I do gets hit by the music. But and it always just says it won't affect your channel at all. I just can't monetize it. Well, I'm not monetized anyway. But yeah, because of that 30, the first one, the one you tried to watch and it wouldn't let you watch, it was because of like 37 or 67 seconds, just a small little part of it. So Bug actually went in there and put another watermark overlay that is like a void kind of thing, oozing over it. It's really weird. So you really couldn't see the image. I'm okay. Well, that should fix it, because it's easier than trimming it. And I put it through again. They claimed the like 30 or 47 seconds after that ended. So I'm all like, well, I'm not going to have you go in and put it over the whole video, but that's essentially what we're going to have to do is I found a overlay that is a fire, like a wall of fire. And so we're going to have to go in there, just put that overlay over the whole damn thing and just make it, semi-transparent. It'll make it, people aren't supposed to watch it to watch the actual video anyway, like it's not a substitute for the movie. Go watch the movie if you like it. But I think that's the only way we're going to get it passed is by literally having a watermarked overlay over the whole damn thing. Unfortunately. But like I said, hopefully you like our commentary. Hopefully it's fun to listen to us and watch us watch a movie, and you'll want to continue to watch them as they come out.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. I went to watch it right after it came out, and it came up immediately as like, oh, so-and-so's blocked this. I was like, fuck. So, all right. I'm Samuel the Infamous. This is my channel. If you are here, you know where to find me. We are on YouTube, Rumble, and Hentai Surprise on Twix. All over the place, doing stuff all the time. Here in about an hour, Devil and I will be over on Beelzebub Pub, on his channel, Beelzehub. And then after about 13 hours after we get done after that, we will be back over here for Screaming into the Void. Should be interesting. We will see what happens with that. And then you can also find myself and my co-host Lawrence Knight on Exiled Lioness 2, both as moderators, and we do a bunch of extra stuff and that we don't get paid for and we get yelled at about. And then you can also find me on Monday on Adam the Renaissance Nerds channel for Mellow Mondays. Yeah, Devil, are you on this week?
Yes, I will. I should still have 2 weeks before I go back over and do Bloodbath.
Okay. I should probably talk to Static about that myself, because I know last time somebody mentioned my name in his chat, he got a little salty about my never coming on his channel. But yeah, and that's it. That's where you can find me. We do this stuff every week. The rest of the time, I might pop up on Caucasian Sasquatch's channel, or other people who ask whatever here and there if I have time for it. I don't do a lot of live streaming during most of the weekdays because it runs up against my actual real life work hours, and that doesn't work. So, but yeah, that's it. That's all I got, Larry.
As for me, guys, you can catch me right here next Friday with my co-host Samuel the Infamous, and Know Me Without You when she's not working. She's pretty much the cryptid host at this point. You guys have fun. Please go support Devil's channel tonight. I've been on it a few times, and trust me, you guys, you won't be bored. You won't be disappointed. If you go back and watching the episodes that I'm on and you hear snoring, it is not because it was boring. It was because I was suffering from insomnia, and my body just happened to chose 2 a.m. in the morning where I'm at to fall asleep live with everybody hearing me snoring. So there's not a reflection on Devil. That was my fault. But hey, Sam, what are you gonna say? It could be worse, right? What did you say to me when I called you that day? I said I fell after I got through saying some choice words. What did you say? It could be worse. I don't remember. You said it could be worse. It could be flaming. It could not. Oh my God! I can't even say you're saying right, man. I already tell I'm getting tired.
Yeah, yeah. It could be worse, folks. It could be raining flaming cobras. Have a great night.
Hi.
Good night. Good night and good grief. What the hell? Okay, hold on.